Wonder if I'm on the beat or not. Hey, Sumi. Everybody says hi. Everybody says hi. You doing good? When I start snapping stuff, she goes crazy. Or when you print something out, oh my God. How are you guys doing? Everybody having a good time? It's Monday. I know Mondays can be difficult. Have you had your coffee yet? It's already 5 o'clock on the East Coast. Actually, we get people tuning in from the UK as well. I'm aware of that, especially now that we do our show at a time when they can tune in. So how's everybody liking the show? Everybody keeping up good? Jim is in the chat. Hey, Jim. Hey, Trisha H. What's up? Hey, Ben Dinnett. Wes James. Ritos. Yes, Wes James. I think it's people who are depressed that will tell you, just be grateful for everything you have, because you have to remember that. You have to remember. It's great. Life is good. I live in a nice place. I live with a nice person. I have a nice dog. And many people are way worse shape. Way worse. So yeah, I was just counting my blessings. Like I try to do every day, especially if I start to feel like something negative. You hate to do anything negative, and people don't like to hear about it either. So just tell people positive things. Like, it's sunny outside, even though it's raining today. It's always sunny here. No, once in a while we get rain. We have something called an atmospheric river. They've been doing who knows? Who knows? Are you into conspiracy theories? Do you think the earth is flat? Maybe I'll run a poll just for fun today. I ran a poll on the last show about who was going to subscribe to Tucker Carlson's new network. And it was a low number, like 7% when I saw the poll. So we're hopeful for him to have we have a clip from him. He's been talking about aliens a lot. Sasha Hernandez, shout out, who says, yes, be grateful. Yeah, that's right. There are people out there. You see them every day. People are having bad days. People who don't feel good. Well, we do have a suicide epidemic in this country. And I did kind of, have those thoughts too. But we do have a suicide epidemic in this country. It's terrible. People feel bad. You think it's social media? Do you think it's our phones? Like, what are they doing to kids? Kids aren't very good at math anymore. Think about how much things changed because of these phones, these damn things, which have good cameras. So people say, feeling good, looking good, show's good. People are saying, I'm getting some feedback. When I read the positive feedback, people are happy with it. So that's cool. It makes me feel better. So anyway, I got news about aliens. I got news about the gay staffer. That was the biggest story on my last show. The guy having male on male sex in the Senate chambers. I do have an update on that. People were wondering who he worked for. And he was definitely in a Joe Biden commercial before. And he was, he said a lot of dirty stuff. Like, they checked out his Venmo and stuff. He said a lot of dirty things. So he's a dirty, dirty boy. People say they promised us that they would be the adults in the room, right? That's what everybody was posting on Twitter. Oh, yeah. Dignity back to the White House. Right? That's what we were promised. Ritos. Yeah. I was surprised people didn't make the staffer comment. Well, he was the one getting staffed. And I don't even know exactly what I can show you. Laura Loomer really digged into it, of course. I don't know what all I can show you. There's something called bareback twink slut, they're saying, was what he went by. Bareback twink slut. And that's dangerous, by the way. Bareback, if you know what that means. That means without using protection. I hope you people are protecting yourselves out there in whatever ways are legal in your state. Protecting yourself from diseases, that is, not from pregnancies. You want to make as many pregnancies as possible. Well, otherwise the population is going to collapse. Society is going to collapse. That's what Elon Musk says. We have to be pro-human. Israel Adams says, well, see, Israel Adams, I can't talk about any of those things. Not on YouTube, at least. I would have to get a guest. Nanotech? Yeah, I can't say too much about it. You can't do things that they consider misinformation. Now, I probably couldn't talk about whatever theories they have about those persistent contrails in the sky. Don't call them what you usually call them. Call them persistent contrails. That's what they are. I'll play you a funny video to start us out. You notice that I filibuster for a few minutes at the beginning of the show, get people tuned in. We have 40. 40 is a good number. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. 40 is a cycle. So we can just pause, be like, oh, soak it in. Rito says it's the callboy stand-up scandal from '89 all over again. No, Edgar, no. Stand-up makes me too nervous. I get too disappointed in myself. It's the problem with stand-up. But yeah, you got the staff. Well, you were saying the staffer joke was a good joke. No, but the stand-up I did, some of it was pretty good, I thought. But yeah, no, I don't do it. I get too upset when it doesn't go well. And that's not a way to be a stand-up comedian. You have to be able to take a terrible set. All right, I'll show you something funny. Bum, 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 bum. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me for this hour that we spent together on this show. I'll show you different videos. I'll cover the alien thing. There's a new thing about Bitcoin. People are starting to run ads for it in anticipation of these Bitcoin ETFs coming out. So I think crypto is staging a little comeback today. I'd have to check the chart, but I'll report on that too. So let me show you a funny video first. Present. Okay, this is a quick funny video, and then maybe we'll play the intro to the show.
When I grow up, I want to work for a woke company, like super woke. When I grow up, I want to be hired based on what I look like rather than my skills.
I want to be judged by my political beliefs.
I want to get promoted based on my chromosomes.
When I grow up, I want to be offended
By my coworkers and walk around the office on eggshells
and have my words policed.
by HR. Words like
Grandfather,
peanut gallery,
long time no see.
no can do.
When I grow up,
I want to be obsessed with emotional safety and do workplace sensitivity training all day long. When I grow up, I want to climb the corporate ladder.
just by following the crowd.
I want to be a conformist. I want to weaponize my pronouns. What are pronouns?
It's time to grow up and get back to work. Introducing the #1 woke-free job board in America, redballoon.com.
When I grow up,
Okay,
I want to
cue
work for
musical
a woke
intro.
company. Like
Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes, it's what's old is new again. Sue me. You gotta let me do the show. It's cool. We have a big sale right now. I should tell you here. We have a big sale on shirts that we've never made for sale. If you want them in time for Christmas, you have a very short window to be able to maybe execute that. And it still might not be possible depending on where you live. But we are having a big sale where this design is on sale for the first time ever, along with all our most popular shirts. So pretty much everything on the website that's not already in the sale category, because we have stuff that's been on sale, pretty much everything is 25% off for a limited time. So if you want to get it for Christmas, you'd have to get it today, and I'd have to see if I could send it out for you today. I'm going to be going to the post office right after this. Some people already got the email. So there's a code at truthclothing.io. You put in the code Mary25. And I'm scrolling it across the bottom of the screen. So if you have to go back and check, Mary25 is the code, and it's 25% off virtually everything at the store. I'll show you because it is a big deal. I have like 4 orders going out today. Let me go to our main shop and see, here it is. Okay, so I'll go to main shop. Let's see, that's the opening page. And then go to main shop, TR collection, for example. Yeah, and all this stuff, the first stuff that shows up is on sale, 25% off. And you get free shipping if you get over $60 worth. So that's a big deal sale. I sold one of these decentralized, selling some propaganda stuff, selling a lot of Question Everything. Question Everything's never been on sale either. So it's your chance to stock up. I don't know when we'll do a sale like this again. You go to truthclothing.io and then put in the code Mary25, okay? Like Merry Christmas, because we're not afraid to say it, right? Okay. Now let's talk about the Sex in the Senate. Sex in the Senate. Or is it Sex and the Senate? Is it a Mandela effect? Aiden Mays Siropsky. Anyway, he was a real dirty boy. He was a really dirty boy. He worked in Ben Cardin's office, and he's on camera taking it from behind. Here are some of his pictures. He was apparently an environmentalist. He was 24 years old. He was working for retiring Senator Ben Cardin, who's a Democrat. And the sex was shared in a private WhatsApp group. So that's what went down. It was shared in a private WhatsApp group. So somebody had to see it, and then it got to the Daily Caller. So he shouldn't have done that. He posted a reply about it saying people were coming after him for his being homosexual. There's the famous picture. So that's not showing too much, but yeah, that's the back of his head. But apparently his face is visible in other parts of it. But he's right at the corner of the dais there, where they had Supreme Court people interviewed, where like serious stuff went on. Then there he is in a picture with Joe Biden. He was in a campaign ad with Joe Biden. Sarah says, how did he get the job? Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of us could be in trouble for what we post on social media, which is why I obscure my identity now on Twitter, for example, because I don't want it necessarily connected to me. Because so far, like, I should feel good. I haven't ever been swatted or anything, right? So that's a good thing when people aren't after you for who you are. But yeah, he posted stuff that was crazy. He said this, I want Joe Biden to spit in my mouth. He posted that on not sure. On Venmo, I think. On a post March 5th, 2020, he said, I want Joe Biden to spit in my mouth. Other posts around the time show payments with the memos claiming they were for strip dancers, a pineapple-shaped dildo, and sexual favors. So he posted all that stuff on his public Venmo, where you can see the people when you pay people. And then here's a picture of him. I mean, that's his picture on Twitter. He's what they call a twink, I guess. Laura Loomer found something. So yeah, that's the crazy stuff. That, I guess, was his Twitter account. There's something called Andre. Bareback twink slut. Yeah, I'll show you that too. That's what you guys are adult enough to handle that, right? That's what Laura Loomer posted, but I won't show you the picture from that one. That's his, what is that? His Reddit? That's his Reddit profile. He posted used by my daddies, NSFW. So Laura Loomer also found out who the guy was, the top. We're talking about tops and bottoms. I'm not offended by people being gay, but I still get grossed out by it. I'm not offended by it, but it grosses me out. But I think that's normal. They say, I heard something saying that a straight male reaction to seeing two men kissing is the same as, I don't remember, smelling like rotten meat or something like that. You know that show, I've been watching that show, Game of Thrones. There's some man on man action in that, and I'm like, man, I gotta fast forward. Even though I'm very accepting, more accepting than my listeners, as a whole. My listeners as a whole are more homophobic than me. I have no problem with it, but I still think it's gross. I don't want to see it. And a lot of people were forced to watch that video. So, all right. So that's the story, wrapping up on the intern who filmed himself having sex in the thing. So, oh yeah, redose. Yeah, it's maggots. That's right. You got it. It's the same reaction as seeing maggots. And they're trying to engineer us, right? They're trying to engineer us to make it seem normal or acceptable. What a difficult conversation. The Pope today said that people in same-sex relationships can be blessed now. If you're interested in hanging out on the gay news, Pope Francis said, and people are reporting it different ways. So I want to make sure I report on it properly, because it's got like a disclaimer on it. Oh, he called out Israel for terrorism too. Because they bombed a Catholic parish. Pope says priests can bless same-sex unions. Requests should not be subject to moral. Oh, here, I'll show you that. I'm showing you used by my daddies. Pope says priests can bless same-sex unions. Requests should not be subject to moral analysis. But other people said that I saw this with a community notes on it in other cases, where apparently they were saying, he said you can bless people who are in same-sex relationships, but not actually bless a union. But I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I'm Catholic. I'm really Catholic. No. I mean, officially baptized and confirmed Catholic. So the Pope also said something about Israeli snipers. He also said something about he said it's terrorism, what they're doing in Gaza. I don't have Gaza reports today, but I'll play this clip for you since I'm here. Let's see.
molto gravi e dolorose. Civili
Gaza.
inermi
Unarmed
sono oggetto di
civilians are subjected to
bombardamenti
bombings
e
and
spari.
shootings. Yeah.
E questo è avvenuto
This even
persino
happened inside the
all'interno
parish
del
complex of the
complesso
Holy Family,
parrocchiale della Santa Famiglia, dove non ci
where there were
sono
no
terroristi,
terrorists, but
ma
families,
famiglie,
children, sick and
bambini,
disabled
persone
people,
malate con
nuns.
disabilità, suori. Una mamma e
A
sua
mother and her
figlia,
daughter, Mrs.
la
Nahida
signora
Khalil
Nada
Anton, and her
Khalil
daughter,
Anton
Samar
e la figlia
Kamal
Samar Kamal
Anton,
Anton sono state
were killed
uccise
and other people
e
injured
altre
by
persone
IDF
ferite dai
snipers while
tiratori
going to the
scelti
restroom.
mentre andavano in bagno. È stata danneggiata la
The
casa
convent of
delle
the
suore
Sisters
di
of
Madre
Mother Teresa
Teresa,
was damaged and their generator was hit.
colpito il loro generatore. Qualcuno
Some
dice
say it's
è il
terrorism, it's
terrorismo,
war. Yes, it's
è la
war, it's
guerra.
terrorism. That's what he said.
Sì, è la guerra, è il terrorismo.
Yeah, he said it is terrorism. Yeah, it is. They killed a bunch of people waving a white flag. The hostages they killed had white flags on them, and they still got killed. So, all right. I will show you the alien footage. This retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral said it's about time that we disclose that we are in contact with non-human intelligence.
I think it's about time that we do disclose that we are in contact with non-human intelligence. That's what needs to be put out there in the public.
There you go.
I think it's
We
about
are in contact. And then Tucker Carlson says it too, that we are in contact. So here's Tucker Carlson talking about it. Let's see.
The second thing that bothers me is the UFO story. And, you know, the more you dig into that and talk to people with actual knowledge of it, again, that's another story where there are some, you know, fanciful ideas floating around that are just, you know, there's no evidence that they're true. But if you talk to people who, you know, have actual knowledge of it that they gathered themselves, there are parts of that story that I do not understand at all that are really, really, really dark. It's so dark that I, you know, haven't told my wife about it. I mean, I haven't verified any of this, but this is not just stuff that I read on the internet. I know you all are very, very grounded in that story. So I think I know, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff there that's just like, man, I'm not even sure what that means. There's a spiritual component there that I don't fully understand. So yes, that story bothers me. And I think last thing I'll say that one of the reasons that we've had all these disclosures and all of these, 10 whistleblowers at this point, and it hasn't really become front page news. Part of it's suppression. You know, parts of the government don't want you to know about it, but part of it is the public can't deal with it. It's too far out. The implication too profound. And so, and I understand that because I've heard things where I'm just like, oh man, I don't even really want to know that, honestly.
Deeply disturbing stuff. You know, forget like saucers and technology. It's deeply disturbing stuff that I haven't even told Natalie. Yep. I agree with you. It's so disturbing. Exactly. I can't even tell my kids. My kids ask me different stories about it, and I won't say it because it's so dark. It's so dark.
I totally agree.
Miles is watching. So.
Okay. What do you think it is? What do you think is so dark? You think it's that they tried to interbreed us, or I wonder what it is. See, I don't have the answer for that. I think it's possible to communicate with extra dimensional beings. Yeah, I think extra dimensional beings are already here and that they possess us. That's what I believe, although I'm not sure. But yeah, like we can become like people, and people intentionally do it. They connect with dark forces, some dark forces. Like, you know, David Icke says lizard people and stuff. Like it's kind of real, I think. Yeah, that people channel otherworldly energy and it comes through them. So, and then you can channel good energy too, but it's hard to know the difference for sure. It's hard to know. I'll play the rest of this clip, but I don't know what horrible things it is. Van Vonderloo says, I will let you know when I die. Yeah, when we die, maybe we'll learn these things.
Okay, Miles, if you're watching the show, Daddy's not going to tell you about that part of the UFO stuff and what's going on with the government.
Well, can I say one thing? they've known clearly. I mean, this is, I think, established, and I feel comfortable saying this as fact. The U.S. government, I mean, these are real, whatever they are. They're not human. And the government has known that for a long time, possibly going back to the 1930s at least. And of course, there's tons of evidence in the written record, in the physical record, in paintings, and in literature, that people have been seeing and interacting with these things for a long time. So we know that. But the justification one often hears is, well, the government, various presidents who have been read in, not all have been, haven't wanted to disclose this because it would scare people. And I've always thought that's bullshit. You know, you're hiding a crime, which they are, by the way, in my opinion. But I do think there's a sense in which that's not totally crazy. Like, there is some stuff, if it's true, and I'm kind of thinking it may be true, that's so radical that, yeah, well, as we both said, we don't want to tell the people we love most about it, because, like, why would you disturb someone like that? So I kind of get that. I hate to admit it. I'm not arguing for hiding things. I believe in the truth and I believe in disclosure, but I understand the impulse. Like, holy smokes, this is heavy. You know what I mean?
And the government's involvement in it makes it even heavier, because then you realize the complicity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the same thing. I can tell. Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Should I go?
No.
Oh, I wish I knew.
We used to talk about in commercial breaks all the time. This is the kind of stuff. But anyway,
I wish I knew what they were talking about.
I never would have believed any of that, but now I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My best guess, I don't even know. Some kind of making, cloning, breeding. I don't know. All I can think of is breeding programs, but who the hell knows? But he says, this other guy says that we have been in contact with aliens before. You guys ever watch people who channel stuff? I had a channeler on my show before. It's really interesting, but I don't know how much faith to put in it. Honestly, I just don't know. I really don't know. B. More Busker said weed and an instrument makes things pop out my fingers like something else is in control. Yeah. When I was using cannabis, I would go into a trance. And I don't know exactly what was coming through. So when I was off my meds and stuff earlier this summer, I had some crazy experiences, but weed definitely is one of those things that's why it's dangerous to mess with. That cannabis stuff, but it does wonders for some people, but some people it'll make you have crazy experiences. So anyway, that's them. Okay, I'll close that. Then I have Kanye West's rant, which I don't really care about. Okay. Let's talk about the election a little bit. And I'll talk about Bitcoin for people who want to talk about it. Truman says demons are aliens. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe they all are. Demons could be aliens. Maybe that's what they're talking about. I don't know. Or aliens or demons. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, though. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. All right, here, I'll play this. Them accusing Trump of Nazi rhetoric. You want to see that? And then I'll show you some Trump news. Okay. So now we'll go with Trump news. CNN accuses Trump of invoking Nazi rhetoric with a fact check. So where they accuse Trump of parroting Adolf Hitler and using language you heard from Nazi Germany. Okay. So this is what they're saying. This is get ready. Yeah. 2024 is going to be crazy. I'm just not looking forward to the presidential race. I'll show you that. I mean, Vivek is interesting, but he's not going to do very well in the primaries, I don't think. He's interesting. Boy, he has a lot of energy. He told somebody to F off today. I have that clip for you. I'll play some Vivek clips. And then I have John Fetterman too. But this year, I just don't know. Do you guys feel positive? Do you feel negative? Do you feel like things are getting worse? Probably people feel like things are getting worse, huh? Is that what you feel like? Everything's more expensive? Or have you thought things have been getting worse for a long time? Because they give us numbers and stuff, and they say stuff's doing well. They say real estate's down here in California, but that's good, really. It was too expensive. But they say real estate's coming down. Gas prices are going down a little bit. That's good. So Trump is a Nazi. If you want to support the show, wow, we have almost 100 people tuned in. That's crazy. If you want to support the show, well, buy some clothing using that 25% off code and free shipping with orders over $60. But you can also support me at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I don't have any new donations, but I'll read those off during the show. All right, I'll play this. This is Trump using Nazi rhetoric. Let's see.
During a recent campaign stops in New Hampshire and Nevada, former President Donald Trump stoked fears about undocumented immigrants coming across the U.S.-Mexico border. Par for the course since the day he rode down the escalator and declared himself a candidate for president back in 2015. But the themes and choices of his words this weekend are significant. The former president again repeating language that echoes white supremacists. Trump saying that illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our country. And on Sunday, that migrants are invading from foreign prisons and mental institutions. Suffice to say, he offered no proof for any of that. Among others, former New Jersey governor and Trump GOP rival Chris Christie called Trump disgusting and his words dog whistling. The Biden campaign, meantime, responded to those poisoning comments, saying that Donald Trump...
Like, I'm smart enough to know not to talk shit about Trump. What is Chris Christie doing? What kind of campaign is he running? So here we go. Biden campaign statement says he parroted Adolf Hitler. Okay, I'll show you.
Parroted Adolf Hitler. Now, is that a fair comparison? Let's dig deeper. About 15 years before he systematically murdered millions of people, Hitler put that phrase in Mein Kampf, quote, "Great civilizations died out as a result of contamination of the blood," calling it a poison to the national bloodstream and infecting public life. Hitler was warning about German blood being, as he described it, poisoned by Jews. At his prior event in New Hampshire last month, Trump also used the word vermin to describe his political rivals. Comments that were condemned by President Biden as well as language you heard in Nazi Germany. Now, is that an accurate claim? Hitler's Nazi party came to power partly by pounding the idea that the German government was being overrun by Marxists, something that Trump has suggested now is happening in the United States for years. When he wrote about rooting out Marxists and Jews, Hitler wrote, quote, "There was time enough at home at least to exterminate this vermin." The Trump campaign did respond to criticism over his speech this weekend, saying that Trump's speech was great. They previously shot down that vermin comparison this way: "Those who try to make that ridiculous assertion are clearly snowflakes, grasping for anything because they are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome." And they added this: "Their sad, miserable existence will be crushed when President Trump returns to the White House." An interesting choice of words there.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Their sad, miserable existence will be crushed. Oh, God. Why does it have to be? Why is it Trump, Biden, and RFK Jr.? I have RFK Jr. just going full pro Israel. Hey, I got to take you out of the room. Okay. Or you have to be quiet. Be quiet. Okay. Good girl. That's good. You want to be on camera? I can get you on camera. You can beg for super chats. We take your support any possible way. Here, Sumi, you want to say hi? Oh. Sumi has to say hi at least once a show. That's Sumi. We got to look at her eyes. She might be losing her eyesight a little bit. She's 10 years old. 10 years old. So that's Sumi. You can throw down super chats for Sumi or coffees for Sumi. Maybe we should make it Sumi's buymeacoffee.com. All right, but actually buying t-shirts is better today. All right, this is the timeline of what Trump is up against heading into the election. So I'll play that for you. Here we go. Let me see.
Clear, both as a political angle and as attorney generals, they intend to tie up Donald Trump in 2024 in a host of legal cases. What you see here is a sampling of them. Donald Trump has 4 different criminal investigations going on as we speak. He's got the classified document case down in Florida for Mar-a-Lago, classified documents. You all remember the raid.
You got the Georgia election investigation, which is the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, looking into what happened as far as votes in Georgia after the election.
You got the January 6th investigation under Jack Smith.
And then don't forget about Alvin Bragg here in New York City. A number of different, it's convoluted, but criminal. You mentioned 4 criminal, but there's one that's dominated headlines recently, which is the civil investigation, which is still ongoing.
Yeah, that's Letitia James in New York City. But she's not the only civil investigation going on. So while there's 4 criminal investigations, let's take a look at the timeline. You'll see it's filled as well with civil lawsuits going on. As you take a look at the timeline, actually, you can see the E.G. Jean Carroll defamation suit.
This is related to The Apprentice, like it's another. So there's what we're trying to get to is in the universe, there's the big ones. And then in the middle of it, you've got date after date after date of smaller civil courses, things as well, which if you're looking at, as we were putting this together, it's a maze to try to understand what could happen when. Because if you go back to Jack Smith, the reason we're talking about this timeline is that he has now asked the Supreme Court to weigh in on Donald Trump's defense team, the belief that they have immunity. The Supreme Court has taken that up. And when that trial, he wants that trial to start on March 4th, which is one day before Super Tuesday. If the Supreme Court rules in his favor, that could happen. If it doesn't, it gets delayed even further.
Is he going to jail for any of this stuff? That's what I'm wondering. Hey, sue me. No, go back to your bed. Go back to your bed. Go back to your bed. We got to make you stop working. Okay. Is he going to be running for president from jail? That'll be just spectacular to see. He's winning in all the swing states. He's winning in all the polls. So, and he's winning in the polls against Biden. His contenders aren't even close. But this all the stuff he's facing in Georgia, I feel like he could be in trouble in Georgia for that one phone call he made, but I don't want to seem like I have TDS. I know people love Trump. What was I going to ask? I was going to do a poll on something. Oh, I was going to ask about flat Earth. That's right. Wonder what Trump thinks about that. All right.
Further.
What's unprecedented about Jack Smith's request is it skips the federal appellate court level, goes straight from the district court to the Supreme Court in order to preserve this trial date before Super Tuesday. Now, anything can happen, Pete, as we push forward towards Election Day and the Republican National Convention. Any of these trials, the big one is probably the classified document case in May. Any of these trials could be the first horse to cross the finish line. We don't know when exactly we're going to hear from these trials, but we know this. We know the goal is to hit it before people start voting.
That's exactly right. Well, this being a big date on the primary calendar, but then eventually if these trials get pushed, the concern or the concern in the Trump world, but also what Democrats hope happened is that you're getting into July, August, September, October trial dates before Election Day. And you've got conventions coming up here. And this cuts also into the Biden camp as we move toward a convention. If his numbers are still fading, could they make a move there too?
So we mentioned that it's not just Donald Trump who will have legal issues going into an election year. It's President Joe Biden as well. Every House Republican has now voted for a formal impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden.
What do you guys think of the impeachment of Biden? I feel like Democrats screwed up by doing the impeachment stuff, but they might have good reason to impeach Biden. That's the thing. I would be against it just on principle, just saying, oh, you shouldn't impeach the guy. Anyway, it's the election year next year, right? So it's the same thing with Trump is they push the impeachment and it didn't work. It didn't stick. And now we're doing the same thing with Biden. It also might not work, right? Especially if the way the Senate is split up, Democrats aren't going to vote to impeach him. So, but he has stuff coming, they flagged some stuff that looked like money laundering.
Joe Biden.
And we don't know exactly what the timeline will be on that, but look at the first quarter of 2024 and there will be hearings, potentially, we saw the spectacle this week of Hunter Biden hosting a press conference on the Senate side, even though they wanted him on the House side and he wouldn't go behind closed doors. Expect more of that. But they're going to be digging for documents because ultimately it's bank accounts and wire transfers that could prove the things they believe happened.
Here's some of what to expect from Congressman Byron Donalds.
And it's going to be crystal clear that there are articles of impeachment that should be drafted for Joe Biden because, number one, he accepted bribes through his family from foreign nations, especially China and others. Number two, he knew that his brother and his son were violating the Foreign Agents Registration Act. I believe that's enough to draft articles of impeachment against Joe Biden, and I believe that is going to happen in the House of Representatives in the spring.
If that
spring, so I won't play any more of that clip. That's enough. But Biden's got stuff going against him too. Man, what the F, man? What the F? Why do all of our, like, someone else can't run for president? We don't have anybody good. But people are going to love seeing Trump win. I saw that in the chat. To drive people on the left crazy. People will do it just for that reason. And the frogs will be back. So Haley, Trump was asked if he would run with Haley. And he said he doesn't rule it out. And a reminder that Trump and Nikki Haley have spent over $30 million in ads against Ron DeSantis and $0 against Trump has spent $0 against Nikki Haley. So let's see this one.
Your daughter-in-law, Lara, said this week on Newsmax that she was asked, would you consider Nikki Haley as your running mate in 2024? And she said, never say never. Would you really consider Nikki Haley?
That's an interesting, I wouldn't, right now, I'm not even thinking about that. I've always gotten along with Nikki, but I think, what she did was, I would never run against the president. He was a great president and all of that. And then, a year, 2 years later, she says, I guess I'll run. And hasn't picked up much steam. They say surge, but the one that's surging is us because I went up 10 points and she went up 3 and DeSantis went down. So that's not much of a surge, although it is a surge against him. He's doing very poorly, actually.
So never say never to picking Nikki as your running mate, or would you say never?
She's the worst.
Well, look, I think it's unlikely because, it's one of those things. I think it's unlikely. We have some things in common and some things we don't have in common, and some of those things are pretty important. We have, obviously, mine is a campaign of common sense. We want strong borders. We got to have our borders back. We have to have elections. We have to have a strong and powerful elections that are honest as opposed to what we've had. We've had, we're like a third world country. We have things in common. We have things that I probably wouldn't agree with her very much on, but we have a lot of great candidates. That's one thing. I don't think about it too much, I have to tell you, but we have a lot of great candidates.
Yeah, he could run with Vivek. He probably wouldn't run with Nikki because he's not in support of Ukraine dollars, I don't think. So yeah, there he said he might run with Nikki Haley. All right, let me show you. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Should I show you? I should show you the 3-minute clip. Here, I'll play you the 3-minute version. He gives like full support for what Israel's doing in the Gaza Strip. So I was thinking I might vote for him. This is him saying, okay, so this is what he says. 3 minutes. I'll give you the 3-minute clip. And there are prominent Jewish people who love it, who love what he said. So here's his justification.
Hamas is a criminal enterprise.
Sure.
Yes. The Palestinian, and you talk about solutions for the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people are arguably the most pampered people by international aid organizations.
Are you kidding me?
No,
even before this war, 78% of people in Gaza said they had, not enough food to eat.
Right. And why is that? Why are you blaming Israel?
In part, it's Hamas, and in part, it's the fact that Israel imposed a blockade and talked about putting them on a diet.
If your neighbor, first of all, Israel has no obligation. Israel built 3,000 hothouses and gave them for greenhouses. that would have made Gaza completely food self-sufficient, gave it to him as a gift, offered to rebuild the port of Gaza to make it the Singapore of the West. Hamas said, no, we don't want Jew money. We don't want Jew ideas. And what do? The international aid agencies have given Gaza more than 10 times the per capita what we gave to rebuild all of Europe after the Marshall Plan. They've gotten $8,300 per capita, every person in Gaza. We rebuilt Europe with $621 per capita in Europe, and we rebuilt it. What did they do with that money? Instead of using it to make this, Gaza's this beautiful country, white sand beaches, it should be a paradise. Hamas said, we don't want that. They take virtually all of that money and they steal it. So the top 5 guys, the top 5 leaders of Hamas are billionaires. Ismail Haniyeh has $5 billion, according to Forbes.
But Bobby, again,
wait, let me just finish. No, because you made
this,
you are making a statement that is just wrong. It's not Israel's fault that Gaza is poverty-stricken. Gaza should be one of the wealthiest states on the Mediterranean.
They have no control over their own territory.
Of course, if you go to war,
everything that comes in and goes out.
If you go to war, no, Crystal, why are you blaming? Why do you insist on blaming Israel rather than blaming Hamas?
I do blame Hamas, but you know what else, Bobby? Our tax dollars do not go to Hamas. They go to the Netanyahu house.
And you know what?
Our bombs, 22,000 that are being bombed, dropped on the population right now.
You know what most of our tax dollars have gone for? For the Iron Dome, which is a way of not invading Gaza. Our country and Israel for 16 years have expended this huge amount of money to try not to go into Gaza, while Gaza sent 2,000 rockets a year, suicide bombers, and of course Israel's
going to how many times has Israel come in and quote unquote mowed the lawn?
They've gone in 5 times, and every time they've signed a peace agreement with Hamas, and every time they violated that peace agreement. Let me.
Well, Israel also has been killing Palestinians in West Bank. But hold on.
Listen,
I want to move
if
forward.
Mexico attacked us and we built a fence, would you blame us for caging in Mexico? Well, I don't know what it is, but everything in your mind is telling you to blame Israel instead of blaming Hamas.
There you go. So that's his. Hey, I mean, I don't know. He might be right about some stuff, but Israel is just bombing the crap out of people. So that even the Pope had to say something. So anyway, that's Bobby Kennedy on Israel. So every candidate, every single candidate, except maybe Vivek a little bit. Even though Vivek is as pro-Israel as he has to be, but he says we don't need to be sending them more money. But yeah, it's our bombs without our money going into our bombs that we send over there. Here's Vivek on the campaign trail saying, shut the F up, showing a little bit of the Elon Musk energy.
We demand a government that tells us the truth again in this country. That's what we require. We can handle the truth.
Truth.
That's what it means to be a citizen of this country. So I say that on that last debate stage to a bunch of Republicans that are shaking in their boots. These are the things you're not supposed to say in the Republican Party even today. And then you get the mainstream media. You got this character, Van Jones, on CNN afterwards saying, this is the rise of an American demagogue who's going to live 50 years longer than Trump. This is dangerous. I am shaking. That's what he says. Just shut the fuck up.
There you go.
At a certain point, just shut the fuck up. Van Jones at CNN. We're done with it.
There you go. So there's Vivek. Vivek said something about AI. It's like 5 minutes long. Maybe I'll save that. Maybe I'll save that for you. Elon Musk, being Elon Musk, is in Germany saying the woke mind virus has to die. Hey, thanks. Shout out to 100 people here. Hit the thumbs up if you feel like it. We're building something here. You're a part of something special. We are going to make it somehow. We got to get Bitcoin. and maybe some other cryptocurrencies probably, or gold or silver. We are going to somehow make it through the troubles. So here's Elon Musk in Germany going off on the woke mind virus. So I'll play that for you.
Yeah, woke mind virus. Woke mind illness. What's that virus?
Yeah, so
it's coming to Europe. I have to advise you. Huh?
Yes, well, this is not something you should import from America. Please don't import the woke mind virus. It's bad. So I mean, essentially, that to summarize maybe the woke mind virus, it consists of creating very, very divisive identity politics. So it actually amplifies woke virus, mind virus, in my view, amplifies racism, amplifies, frankly, sexism, and all the isms. And while claiming to do the opposite, it actually divides people and makes them sort of hate each other, and it makes people hate themselves. Yeah, woke mind virus.
Woke mind
Makes people hate themselves. That's what we're living under right now. Is it going to change? Like, what do you think? There's a pendulum to things. So it swings one way, and we've witnessed it swinging really far one way. So is that going to change? What about John Fetterman? What's he doing? John Fetterman is being different. He's recommended that Bob Menendez be expelled from Congress. He has recommended, he's calling for increased border security and says Democrats should work with Republicans to secure the border. And he also says that the CCP, that the Chinese shouldn't be allowed to take farmland. So I don't know if he's recovering from his stroke, but he's going a little bit different direction. Now he claims that he is not progressive, just a Democrat, not a progressive. So he's actually leaning away from this thing. So is this a sign of things to come? If Fetterman's doing it.
Fetterman is overwhelmingly the favorite to win what could be the Democrats' best chance at flipping a Senate seat, with more than half of the registered Democrats in the state saying they plan to vote for him.
Are you a progressive?
No, I'm just a Democrat that has always run on what I believe and know to be true. And 6 years ago, that was considered progressive. But now there isn't a single Democrat in this race or any race that I'm aware of that's running on anything different. And we are squandering, in my opinion, an enormous opportunity to do some transformative good through legislation that is being stopped by a senator like Joe Manchin. And I'm not criticizing him.
See, this is old news, but he decided to post it. Oh, see, why did I get this in my feed? Because he's saying he's not a progressive now, even though before he has said he was progressive. So, all right, Bitcoin. Somebody says Dogecoin too. I'll check that out. Bitcoin is up today. So, and it's doing well during my show. 42, it's back to 42.5. They ran the first ad. Here's the chart. That was today. And then this is the 1 day chart. So it looks like it's still holding in there over 40, comfortably over 40,000 at 42.5. Somebody said Doge. Let's see. Maybe it's up today. So different things are pumping. Meme coins on Solana are pumping. There's something called Bonk that did really well. Oh no, Doge is down today. So, but somebody in the chat shouted out Dogecoin. So I thought hopefully it'll pump for him. But yeah, there's some money to be made in cryptocurrency. If you need any help with crypto, if you want to get involved, they say January 9th, they might approve the Bitcoin ETF, and that will unleash an amount of money that can invest in Bitcoin. Now, it might already be priced in, but if you want to get involved, if you don't know what you're doing, if you need help with it, just text me at 650-GAY-TAX, 650-429-8294, 650-GAY-TAXI. You can text me, and we can set up a consulting session if you'd like. So I still do that. All right. I think I had this thing on AI. Yeah, why don't I play that clip? Because I haven't even heard the whole thing. It's what Vivek has to say about AI. So let me get that for you. I'll share that with you today. Thanks for the $5 super chat earlier. I don't know if I thanked you, Trisha H. God bless you for the $4.99 super chat. And yeah, you can also become a member at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil if you want to. I know I have to promote it, or you can give me Cash App, but buy our t-shirts.
Thank you. Young
So
man in
here's
the back,
mine.
right there. Right there. No, root beer for thanks. How do I feel about it? It's a great question. It's going to be what affects your generation. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'm proud of you for coming on a Saturday afternoon. How do you feel about AI? Let me ask you that question. That's an honest and sane response. So I'll tell you about AI, okay? First of all, not to take a partisan dig here, but I don't think the person who's charged with AI policy in this country, Kamala Harris, knows much about AI. I think she can't spell it, if you had asked me. So I think that we need some competence, at least, in addressing it. So I'll tell you a funny story about AI. We'll take it outside of politics. Now, this is not for you. Oh, that was my mistake. All right, maybe the ice cream. What do you say? Should we give him a bite?
I did. He wants more.
Nice. So we'll take it outside of politics, then I'll bring it back in to see what's going on with AI. Anybody here a tennis fan? I like to watch tennis. So my first job was actually as a ball boy at this tennis tournament in Cincinnati. And then I got a promotion to being a line judge when I was in early high school, like 9th grade or so. So as a human line judge, you make the line calls. It's not done that way anymore. It's all done by AI. They predict where the ball is going to land. So back when I used to be a line judge, the funny thing is, it was all the rage where players used to argue with the line judges over the call, John McEnroe and everything else. Something funny happened. When the AI started making the call, the first generation of the AI, it was so bad that you could literally see it with your eye, that it was like a bad call. But the funny thing is that the players stopped arguing with the calls. So why do I bring that up? The biggest danger of AI is actually the human response to it. And I don't mean to get too philosophical, but I think it's actually important. You asked a deep question. I want to give you a proper answer. I'll give you the simple AI policy. I'll give you the superficial piece, but I want to come back to the more important part. Superficial piece is hard boundary between AI and kids, just like we talked about for the transgenderism. Draw a hard line, at least. AI-powered algorithms should not be regularly interfacing broadly with kids. I think that we should not ban anything that China is also not willing to ban. But the right way to deal with it is don't ban anything. Put the liability on companies. Right? So we should tell the companies you're going to be liable. You're going to be liable for any unforeseen consequences of a protocol that you develop. That then at least makes them take the risks into account on the front end, which they're not doing today. So that's the right answer as a matter of policy. But I want to go back to the deeper point about the tennis players not arguing about the calls. Go to ChatGPT today or some equivalent and ask, how do you address climate change? Or how do you address racial injustice or whatever? It'll give you an answer as though it's a political opinion, but it reads with the authority of somebody who's converting degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit. That's the real danger. And so I think that, yes, I'll give you the AI policy, but at a philosophical level, the best answer to the risks posed by AI is actually the revival of faith in this country, faith and patriotism and a belief in something bigger than ourselves. Because here's what's really going on, whether it's AI or wokeism or transgenderism or climatism or COVIDism or depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide. It's not an accident that we see the rise of these same poisons at the same time. They're symptoms of a deeper void of purpose and meaning in our country. And I think we got to fill that vacuum with the real thing. There's an old expression, if there's a hole the size of God in your heart and God does not fill it, something else will instead. the same can be said of belief in a country. So that's what's going on in the country right now is we are lost. We're hungry for purpose. And that belief in something bigger than ourselves is actually going to be the best protection against bending the knee to whatever the new false idol is. AI perhaps being the latest one.
There you go. He's standing in front of a sign that says truth too. So I don't know, man. Maybe the pendulum is swinging a little bit. Truth is like, God believes in truth, right? God wants to hear the truth. I believe that was like a message I got actually when I was out there, is that God misses the truth. And there was like a veil over things that made it so that the truth couldn't get out. But maybe that veil has to be lifted. So that's what we're trying to bring you here in whatever little way we can. We try to bring you the truth. We try to bring you the news, and we do it in about an hour. So I brought you an hour worth of news. I didn't even show you the actual Bitcoin ad that I said I was going to show you. So, and there's truth in numbers. There's truth in math. Bitcoin is run by math. So there is some truth in Bitcoin. So that's why we talk about that too. So this is the ad for Bitcoin. It's with the most interesting man in the world, or most interesting man in the world ripoff. Truth matters.
You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin.
That's it.
Look for Bitwise, my friends.
So that's the first company actually advertising, even though the ETFs haven't been approved yet. It's the first ad you're going to see, and there will be more ads. And it says, long live Bitcoin. So we're trying to take money. We're trying to front run really rich people by buying it before it goes mainstream. But we're a couple weeks away now. Just a week away from Christmas right now, today. So anyway, get your clothes, Get some t-shirts. Truthclothing.io. Put in the code MERRY25, MERRY 25, and get 25% off all of our shirts. I didn't get any coffees during the show. I did get that one super chat. Thank you for that. And I appreciate everybody who gives some support to the show. So I really appreciate it. So if anybody wants to drop anything by there, I'll read it on the next show. buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And that's it. All right. So somebody says mooning in the chat. What's mooning? Bitcoin? We like mooning, right? I'll check out the tab one more time. Give people a second. No, it's just up 2% today. That's good. Still the same. All right, guys. So have a good rest of your Monday, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. I have something going on tomorrow where I'm not sure if I'll make it for the show, but I'll do my best. All right. So for now, that is what it is.